Hi, welcome to the Monday Live, and we're changing topic. We're moving on to defence. So that's hard work. We're going to have a slightly easier version of it this week. We're going to go a bit deeper next week. Next week I'm away. I will say next week I'm away. However, more important things to talk about. Mr. Bridge is retiring or retired. Now, I know I've told you that before. But I think he has decided once again that it is time to stop. So I'm sorry about that. I mean, obviously, I worked for my father for a long time, and we've been together in this sort of drive through the bridge world for many years, more than 30 years. Obviously the Bridge magazine was reissued a few months ago, and quite exciting, but it's not to be. Who knows, in the future, maybe the distant future, it may make a comeback. But an era has ended, I think is the best way of explaining that. And hopefully, yes, a happy retirement for Mr. Bridge. So we will see how things go. But we've been having lots and lots of chats over the last few months, and he's got aches and pains. I think that's probably the best way to look at it. He's definitely earned his retirement, and I hope he can enjoy that. And we will see what the next chapter of the bridge world has for us. We shall see. Yes, so we all hopefully wish my father a happy retirement, and certainly I do. And we were over there, actually. We were over there in as a family together this weekend, which was good. He certainly did. He involved a lot of the magazines as a whole, whether it was Bridge Plus, some of you will have come across, or the Bridge magazine itself in its original format. Let's go back 25 years, something like that. It was sent free to everybody. I mean, this is in the years of postage being very, very cheap. I mean, it seems impossible to believe it could have been that cheap when someone can remind me how much a first class stamp is now, but I'm sure I know it's in 3 figures, but yeah, you used to be able to send, and we used to invite all beginners to sign up and get your magazine free of charge. So, it was a very different world in that sense, and the printed format was very much the norm. Whereas things have seemed to have changed. It's Alan's saying there, £1.35 for a first class stamp. Well, it's the newspaper is similar, isn't it? A broadsheet at £2.80. Extraordinary how the printed format has changed in price. However, we'll see. I need to move on. I need to talk about some of the things we're going to talk about today. So, fond memories of so many Mr. Bridge things, and hopefully we can carry that on. I'm certainly, the philosophy I have for most of what we do is very much born from and carried from the Mr. Bridge philosophy. So hopefully you appreciate that. On Fridays, we are responding to overcalls, and we're moving towards some interesting ideas. I'm afraid I am, yes. So those are interesting. A change of suit opposite an overcall, what does it mean? It's quite interesting, really, because it's just so much less specific than an opening bid. And defence, of course, is the topic for March. It is not easy, and we are going to work with it. Next week, a reminder of next week, I'm not around. I'm in Cornwall, in Falmouth, so I am going to record a variety of things. So on Monday, I'll record a slightly trickier version of defence, as it were. On Wednesday, I'll be recording a pairs, I think, probably an individual pair. So what I mean by that is just playing at a single table. And I'm going to try a few formats for Recorded Wednesdays, and I want to see what you like the best, or at least get some feedback. So that'll be interesting to have. And then on the Friday, I will record the responding to overcalls. Of course, we've got today's. But this week is normal. Wednesday, Teams, and the Friday. What else have we got today? We've got the bidding quiz to finish. We've got the 5-level decision. So our usual suspects. In terms of the holidays and everything, well, this is very much what I carried. You know, I've tried to carry from the Mr. Bridge Times, the various events. Denham Grove is our home, as it were. We do a lot there. There's a country house bridge that's not at Denham Grove, so I'll get someone to change that slide later. That will be at Parsford House in October, and obviously a whole list of events and things like that. Now for Easter, my wife, I'm going to Tunisia, and my wife and son are joining me there, which will be rather nice. So we're going out, I'm going out in sort of late March, but for the beginning of April, my wife and son are coming for the second half, so we'll have a nice party out there, and we're going to go to the Sahara afterwards. So it's rather interesting, interestingly different from the skiing that we've just been on. So we're experimenting with different temperatures. Okay, let me go to this, which is hopefully the 5-level decision. So this is an interesting one, because you can't always rely on your opponents to do the right thing. And you've still got to defend against them. So it goes 1 heart, 3 spades here. It's your bid, and 4 hearts looks normal, doesn't it? Okay, nobody's vulnerable. So it's 1 heart, 3 spades, 4 hearts. It then goes pass, 4 spades. And that's annoying, partially because obviously, well, I'll let you think about it and we'll come back to it. This is our 5-level decision, but it's gone 1 heart, 3 spades from north, 4 hearts from you, pass, 4 spades from north, and it's your bid. So have a little think about what you might bid here. Okay, have a little think about what you might bid here. And we will see. Okay, yes, so that's excuse me, that's the 5-level decision. We'll come back to that after the seminar. So there's cruises galore, so do look up those. We're actually cruising over Christmas. I say we, Robin and Hilary are doing the Christmas cruise. So we do our usual Christmas event at Denham, but we thought we'd like to offer a different Christmas this year. We used to do it, probably seven or so years ago, we used to do a regular Christmas cruise, but obviously since COVID we hadn't got back to it. So do look at that. So I am going over here, which I hope is the PowerPoint. So let's get to that. Counting defence. It's pretty frightening, counting defence in a way, but there are certain elements that are available for everybody. And today I'm going to talk about one of those. The big seminar is up and you can have a go at it. And then do the set hands with it. We've got 2 sessions of set hands a week. And I am trying to set something else up for those as well, just to make things easier for you as a whole, just to be able to practice. Counting defence is tough. Why are we talking about it? Well, so why use count signals? Well, the reason is for a number of important elements. The first one is to know when to play your aces, and that's what we're going to look at today in a very simple format. We're going to look at how to know when to play your ace, because if you knew where all the cards were around the table, it would be an easy life. So we're going to try and talk to each other. Of course, you can get roughs in by a high-low signal. Most of us are happy with that. A doubleton signal saying, yep, partner, carry on leading that suit. That is a count signal showing a doubleton. Number 3 is hard, and I try to do this when I can on the Wednesday teams, and we'll certainly try and do it over the coming weeks, because I want, we'll try to exhibit counting defence, but what we try to do is use everything to counter hand. Now I'm going to go through one next week, so I will invent one, as it were, for you and go through each step. You don't always get this right, and you will have seen me do that on the live teams that I play, where sometimes I think I've made the precise count of the hand and it turns out not quite precise. However, I think it's not unreasonable to say that we have got some good ones right as well, where we have got the complete picture, and by doing so we've been able to actually find a really accurate defence. So those are the 3 elements, and they come up a lot, particularly knowing when to play your ace. Okay, so when do you use the count signals? There are a variety of places, but really the most important, really the only one really, is whenever declarer leads a suit. So if you don't have to play a high card, so let's say clearly if you've got an ace queen in a holding and declarer leads from his king, you might want to put the queen in or something like that, but most of the time declarer makes a lead, you are going to follow with a small or spot card. And what we do is we choose which spot card we play. So you might have the 3, the 7 and the 9, and you could choose any of those 3 cards. Okay, so whenever declarer leads a suit from his hand or dummy, assuming you're not forced to play high, you can give a count signal. Now in the seminar I gave a few other places, but I'm just focusing just on that here. Okay, just on that, because that is by far the most important element. 99% of count signals are going to be here. Obviously if your partner leads, you give an attitude signal, funnily enough, but it'll often marry up with a doubleton signal. Okay, so what is the count signal? Let's remind us. High, low shows an even number, low and then higher shows an odd number. Okay, so playing in the ordinary fashion, so lowest first and higher is showing an odd number of cards, and when you do that you play your very lowest card. If you play a card that is not your lowest card, that is suggesting an even number, because essentially you can then follow. So the idea being, well, no, this is not leading. This is not leading, this is just following suit to declarer's lead. So when you've got these 3 holdings, what I want you to do is decide what you're going to play when declarer leads the suit. Nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you leading them. If you were leading, you would make very different leads on the various things. Okay, well, as it happens, a couple of them will marry up, but particularly clubs will be different. Okay. This is following suit. So if we were following suit in diamonds, we would play the 8. And then later on we follow the 2. So it says high-low, but often you only get 1 card to guess what's going on. So the idea is that partner hopefully can work out that the 8 of diamonds is not your lowest diamond. Whereas in clubs you'd follow with the 2. That is clearly your lowest club. So you are suggesting an odd number of clubs. Nothing to do with whether your card is even or odd. It is whether it's the lowest card in your hand or not the lowest card. That's probably the easiest way of putting it. If you have followed with your lowest card, you will have an odd number. If you follow with any other card in your hand, so any card that's not your lowest, then you're suggesting an even number. So in hearts, I'd probably play the 7. I'm trying to make it as specific as possible. The 6 is a bit lower. Partner might think that's our lowest card. So by playing the 7, hopefully partner thinks, well, there's a lot missing underneath that. Looks like partner's got an even number of cards. Why not the 9? The 9 could be valuable on the last round of the suit, couldn't it? There's no reason to think that the ace, king, queen, jack and 10 might not have gone by then. So usually you'd keep your highest one back. But try and if I was dealt 7, 4, 3, 2, not that excited about the 7, I might play the 7 to help partner. Does that make sense? So it won't always not be the highest, but generally you're just hoping that partner can work out that you haven't followed with the lowest. So let's look at an example. This is the very first example in the big seminar, and I will then quickly nip on to the other half. It is a classic scenario which does come up a lot, and that is, when do we play our ace? When do we play our ace? So here, dummies at the top of the screen, you are sitting in the west seat. You can see the centre of the table there. You can see the bays, as it were. And what's going to happen is they're going to bid no trumps. So let's do it. 2 no trumps, 3 no trumps. Nice and simple auction. So get that out of the way, as it were. And then you lead the queen of clubs, which again, normal, relatively normal. So an easy start. As soon as you see a dummy like this, you know, okay, you know that de Clercq is going to struggle to get there. Okay. Now, if de Clercq has 4 diamonds, you say to yourself, well, de Clercq is going to make 3 diamond tricks there. But if de Clercq has any fewer than 4 diamonds, you can control when you allow, when you take your ace. And your job is to take your ace when de Clercq plays his last card from hand. What's difficult, though, is you can't see de Clercq's hand. So what we're going to do is hope that our partner's going to help us. So in this scenario, as soon as dummies come down, I'm thinking, oh gosh, there's not much there. I know how important my ace is. So I said this last week when I was down in Devon. We were doing the idea of talking to each other as defenders, looking at switches and things like that. Receiving a signal is much more difficult than giving it. Anybody can give a signal. Being ready to receive it, i.e. see it and use it, is the tricky part. So here, with my ace of diamonds in my hand, I am actively looking at my partner's play because I need my partner's play to help me. Does that make sense? Because if my partner can tell me how many diamonds he's got, I can then simply add the diamonds up around the table. I can see 7 diamonds. There are 6 missing. If my partner has a doubleton, there'll be 4. If my partner has 3, de Clercq will have 3. If my partner's got 4, de Clercq will have 2. I know there's 6 between them. So I am looking for partner's signal. So let's see what happens. Jack of diamonds. We duck the first one. Now, if that's a singleton, so be it. Okay, but de Clercq is going to have to struggle with the rest of his play anyway. Okay, so I think you've sort of got to duck it. Bearing in mind he's opened 2 no trumps, it's unlikely. Okay, there you go. Partner's played the 2 of diamonds. I am looking at that card. And if necessary, leave your 6 of diamonds down so you can see it. Okay, until you play to the next trick, you can also look at it online. You can just tap on the pile of tricks, as it were, and it will still show you that. Okay, and you can see that and keep it up for yourself. Okay, so let's take our time. Partner has played his lowest card. That means he should have an odd number of diamonds. Whenever partner has 2, I'd have expected him to play high-low, but what's important, if he's got 4, I need him to play high-low, as we're going to see with the other side of this deal. So I think if I trust my partner has 3, so I can then do the addition around the table. There you go. We can see 3 and 4. Partner has 1, 3 or 5. Well, clearly, if de Clercq has 5, there's not much importance, is there? Because he's always going to make them all because they're all in his hand and he's got plenty of entries there. If it was a singleton, well, the suit doesn't get played again. So that's the end of that. So there's no need to worry about that. The only thing that you need to worry about is the 3 and the 3. And that means you must take the ace on the 3rd round. So you are going to duck and then duck again. You wait until de Clercq is out of the suit. Now de Clercq can lead another one here, so this is the situation we're in. De Clercq can lead another one, but clearly he never gets to dummy. So he tries another one. There you go. You win it and you play clubs, but he never makes that king of diamonds. Now, I made it a straightforward hand by giving de Clercq ace, king, ace, king, ace, king. Okay. he had ace, king, ace, king, ace, king, so he had 6 tricks, and as long as he makes 3 diamonds, well, let's look at the full hand here. There you go. It looks like a simple contract. He's got his ace, king of spades, ace, king of hearts, and ace, king of clubs, and he appears to have 3 diamond tricks because he's got king, queen, jack, 10. So once the ace of diamonds has gone, it looks like there's 9 tricks. But that king of diamonds gets isolated, and there's nothing de Cloer can do. Most people are happy to duck once, but I want to know when to play my ace. I want to know when to play my ace, and that is what my partner's going to tell me. I mean, in fact, let me make it simple. Let's just change one card. So I change one card. Well, not one card, 2 cards. De Cloer now just has 2 diamonds. And it's so important here that partner gets this right, so that you get this right. So what would happen here is clearly, as you can see, you need to just duck 1 diamond here. If you duck the 2nd diamond, I've made it so that de Cloer can make the contract. Because he's got ace, king, 10, 9, 8 of spades, he may well win the jack and 10 of diamonds and play the ace, king of spades out. And when he does that, he will be able to establish his 10 of spades, because the queen of spades would fall, or the jack on another hand. So de Cloer will be able to make if you duck 2 rounds of diamonds. But of course, this time, your partner, hopefully, is going to make a different signal. I like the 7 of diamonds. The 4 is okay. I mean, partner should be able to see the 3 and the 2 are missing. But I think here, when the jack of diamonds is led and it goes small and dummy plays small, you can see that your 7 is of no value at all, because the 3 diamonds in dummy are higher than the 7. Can you see that? So the jack of diamonds is led. Okay, it goes small. 5 is played from dummy. Your 7 is never going to be of worth any value, so why not use your 7 to try to show your partner that you've got an even number of diamonds. Remember, you're playing high followed by low. So how does that help your partner? Okay, well, the point is that partner has to put that in his equations, as it were. 3 and 4, if your partner's got an even number, the suit breaks 4-2. We don't know which way the suit breaks 4-2, but we know it breaks 4-2. And of course, if de Cloer has 4 diamonds in each hand, it doesn't matter what we do. So we just cross that one out. Can you see that? We're not worried. We know that one of the people has 4, because we've decided it's 4-2, and if de Cloer has 4, clearly he can get from hand to hand. He's got 4 in each hand. So we throw that away and we think, well, the only time it matters is when partner has 4. So we would take the 2nd diamond. And if you can take the 2nd diamond, you defeat the contract. Now, that is not easy. However, if you can get into the habit of doing that, you will get so much better at defense. You will actually start believing in your partnership. And it comes up all of the time. What I recommend is, if you're not doing it yet as a partnership, if you've got a regular partner, then try to play as a foursome sometimes, online or at home. You know, it's great fun playing at home if you've got 4 friends where you can practice. And all of you together say you're going to practice defense. Because counting like this does take time. There's no doubt about it. Counting like this takes time. Okay? All right, as you can see. Okay, it really does take time. The first few times you do this, you will find that if you're playing in a duplicate bridge tournament or game at your club, that people get bored and annoyed with you. Can you play? Come on, what are you doing? Why are you waiting? Okay, because counting to 13 is surprisingly difficult when you're sort of got lots of other things to think about. And that's what you're doing here, isn't it? You're saying, well, I've got 3, there was 4 in dummy, that's 7. Partner's got an even number. Oh my goodness, what does that mean? 13 minus 7 is 6, etc., etc. If you can see one important part, I mean, let me just put that back up, that particular hand, for example. This hand, if you look at dummy at the top there, there's clearly only one suit you're really focused on. So if you focus on one suit, possibly you've got a chance. Okay, if we focus on all 4 suits, that's tough. And we are going to look at that next week. We'll look at counting the full hand, and it is very difficult. Okay, but counting one suit is clearly within all of our range, but it is still tricky. Doing all the arithmetic takes time, but if you can have a chance to practice that as a 4 and keep going at it and get it wrong, because that's the most important thing of counting and doing anything like this, doing counting defence, you'll get it wrong. And not only that, if you focus on counting defence for a particular evening, you will find you can't do anything else. I often find that on my bridge events where people focus on something. They love doing it and they like improving at it, but they do find that everything else at the same time just goes to pieces because you're using all of your mental energy on one thing, and oh dear, it's amazing how badly you can bid when you're not thinking about it. Anyway, that is the introduction to counting defence. As I say, you've got a big seminar on the site, so do have a look at that and have a play with it. And we look at the variety of things, and I give lots of examples, or try to, about giving count and that idea of making sure, particularly when the suit breaks 3-2, for example, or 4-1. Or 3-2 particularly, where you don't know who's got the doubleton. And so if partner can show you when he's got a doubleton, you work it out. Okay, let's get back to that hand. So this is the 5-level decision. The set hands are Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Tuesday at 2 o'clock and Saturday at 11 are the two set hand options. Thank you, Sue. Yeah, Tuesday at 2 o'clock and Saturday at 11. Okay. So this is the 5-level decision, which is an odd one, but remember, this is one of the really tricky things about bridge, is you're going to tell me that North's bidding is wrong, and I'm going to agree with you. However, you cannot pick your opponents. North has made a preempt over your partner's 1 heart opening, and if you preempt, you should never really preempt again. It should be up to your partner. However, you cannot pick your opponents. North has bid 3 spades, you've bid 4 hearts, it's then gone pass, 4 spades. So I agree with you, I don't think North's bidding is good, but that doesn't mean that you are always going to get the right answer here. So for me, I would play this as a forcing pass situation. Someone was asking that on Friday, simply because North shouldn't be making 4 spades, really. Why do I mean that? Well, if he's bid 3 spades, he's suggesting he doesn't think he can make 4 spades, and his partner hasn't bid 4 spades. So I've no reason to think they're making 4 spades. So I would feel that we've got 2 options, which is bidding to 5 hearts or doubling. So your pass would be saying, partner, you choose. Should you be doing that? And it's interesting, this one, because I would feel that if you had a hand that was very proud of its 4 heart bid, you would be keen for your partner to choose whether you should bid 5 hearts or not. But if you've stretched to 4 hearts, I think you'd be better off doubling here, which would say, partner, you know, I wasn't even sure we were making 4 hearts. So don't worry about the fact you haven't got many tricks. That's not what you're being asked here. On the auction, you would feel that they're not going to make 4 spades. And your partnership has to decide whether we should bid on to 5 hearts or not. You could have had a 7 loser hand. You could have had 12 high card points in your hand. You haven't got either of them. You are a bit short. You've got a 5th heart, which is lovely. But everything else about your hand would suggest that perhaps 4 hearts could have been too high and you wouldn't be keen. So I have to be honest, I would bid, I would make a double here. Hoping that, you know, and that generally should keep your partner quiet. Now, your partner's flat, so your partner might not have bid on anyway. But of course, with 16 points in his hand, he might think, well, if partner has, you know, if partner thought we were going to make 4 hearts, maybe we can make 5 hearts. Yeah, so I think that's the situation here. I don't know how you'd get on here. I think you're probably going to go off in 5 hearts. Are you going to go off in 4 hearts even? 1. No, I think you can make 4 hearts. What about North's bidding? What do you think about North's bidding? Well, the key is it's not our job to assess our opponents, so do not really worry about North's bidding. If you really want to bid 4 spades, bid it in one go. And I quite like it. I probably would bid 4 spades, actually. I'm an aggressive bidder, but I think the simple way of looking at it is when you bid 3 spades, that should be your last bid. And if you feel that if they bid 4 hearts, you want to bid 4 spades, well, then bid it in one go. Because I think quite often if you bid 4 spades, East would bid 5 hearts. You've given East 2 bites at the cherry here. Whereas if North bids 4 spades, real pressure on East. What would you bid, actually? I mean, that's another 5-level decision, isn't it? Really tough. 1 heart, 4 spades. Clearly we know it's not right to bid 5 hearts, but I have to say, I think if North puts you to the test, a lot of us are going to bid 5 hearts there. And that is why we try to bid our hand in one go as a preemptor. If North bids 4 spades, I think it might end up in 5 hearts. And that is the end of that. We go 1 off. I don't know, it depends on the lead. I think on a club lead, on a club lead, you might even go down in 4 hearts, would you? That's nasty, isn't it? Yeah. On a club lead, I mean, particularly if you don't go up with the king, I think you can win the first heart, give your partner a ruff, and is there still a diamond trick to come? Let me just work. No, that's only. That's sorry. No, they make 4 hearts, but you take a club ruff, the ace of hearts, and a diamond trick. I think so. I think you're going to take 3 tricks. It's not too difficult a defence. I don't think North is going to lead a club, surely, and I would have thought that South would win the first trump and lead a club. So I don't think it's a difficult defence. John's saying that, but I don't think you're going to get that defence wrong. I think it's going to be a singleton club lead, win the ace of hearts, club ruff, and they cannot discard their diamonds. So they can discard 1 diamond, not both of them. So 5 hearts will be going off there, I think. 4 spades, I mean, it does fine. And of course, North will be saying, oh, no, 4 spades was a brilliant bid because it was a good sacrifice. And he's right. It is a good sacrifice. I think you just lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you go 2 off. You lose a club, a diamond, a heart, and 2 spades. 2 off doubled is just 300. That is a good sacrifice. But the problem is, you've made it easy for the opponents because you've allowed them to bid 4 hearts and then double you. Whereas if you'd bid 4 spades straight away, you've given the opponents the last guess. And I think a lot of the time it will go 1 heart, 4 spades, 5 hearts, pass, pass, pass. And on a club lead, I think they should get you down in 5 hearts. So try to bid your hand in one go. The problem is, as I say, is you can't pick your opponents. So North has bid 3 spades followed by 4 spades, which I don't think is very good bidding. And I think it's given us the chance to double there and take 300 points, which is better than having to bid 5 hearts and going down. So hopefully that's an interesting one. Those 5-level decisions are notoriously difficult. Okay, we had some interesting hands in the teams last week. I have to say, some really instructive ones if you've not seen them. Now, as I say, they weren't all bid in the way I'd have liked them, but there was a splinter bid around. There was actually a Lebenssoul option as well on a hand. So there were some really interesting hands and a lovely end play and all sorts. As I say, I'm not saying they were actually played, but it was almost as if someone had put some set hands in. They haven't, they're all random, I should say. But yeah, some really interesting ones. Okay, let's look at the bidding quiz and then I'll do the beginners for you here. This is the beginners quiz. Sorry, not the beginners quiz, the bidding quiz. we've got some two-suited overcalls coming in here. It's one spade from your left-hand opponent, two no trumps from your minors, from your partner. That is showing the minors. It's the unusual two no trumps. It goes pass. It says love all. The bidding goes one spade, two no trumps from your partner, pass, and it's your bid. You can get all the answers on the website. You do not have to be a member, don't forget, so that is absolutely fine. One spade, two no trumps, pass, and it's your response, so good luck with that. Have a good week. I'll see some of you later in the week, I hope. Don't forget, next week is a pre-record. I will be down in Falmouth, okay, and we will still be on counting defence. So good luck on your defence. Do work on it and try on the teams matches. I will be trying to think about counting defence as we go. So thanks for your company, and see you again soon. And if you want to listen to our improvers or our beginners, you are welcome. I've just got to get myself to the right slide. So we're talking about as partner with the leader for the novices. So let's have a look at that. Excuse me. So partner with the leader. So what we're going to do is try and play the white card. We've just spent some time on opening leads and looking at the idea of the opening lead without bidding particularly, just trying to focus on what the ideas we should think about. So what do you do as the partner of the leader? Well, the expression we use, and we've talked about defence, is third hand high. So generally you're going to play your highest card. If in doubt, play your highest card. The idea is your partner's led the suit because he likes it, so you play your highest card, and if you happen to win, you tend to lead the suit back. Okay, so this is a classic suit, so I'm not showing the whole hand, I'm just showing an individual suit. So imagine you're in a 3-no trump contract. West chooses to lead the suit, and what's important is that East plays the king. Now, clearly you don't know where the rest of the high cards are, and the king could lose to the ace if Declara has it. But what you're doing is you're sacrificing your high card. You are sacrificing your high card because your partner's asked you to. Now, on this particular occasion, of course, the king would win the trick, and now we would lead it back. And of course, what that means is we make the whole suit. Because your king wins, the 10 of clubs is led back, and if Declara puts the queen on, partner wins the ace and he takes the jack later, or straight away. And if he doesn't put the queen on, well, the 10 can win the trick and you can lead another one. So in fact, you can cross out that queen. It gets completely wiped out and your partner makes the first 5 tricks. Well, you make the king and then your partner makes the next 4. So you make 5 club tricks because you've played third hand high. Okay, third hand high. So if in doubt, play your highest card. Now, when I do this for the intermediates, I will give you 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 exceptions. Here there's just one exception, which is quite subtle but important, and that is when you've got 2 touching cards, almost always in bridge, you play the higher one to show the one beneath it. This is the exception. When you are the third player to play, you play the lower of touching cards. And there's an interesting reason for this, and we'll show you that now. You're on lead and you choose to lead a club. Dummy plays a low one. Your partner plays the jack. And Declara wins the trick with the ace. What's going on? Well, another way of putting that question is, who has the Queen of Clubs? Who do you think has the Queen of Clubs? Well, I'm thinking, why didn't Declara win the trick with the Queen? That's a bit stupid if he's won it with the ace when he could have won with the Queen. And because of that, I place my partner with the Queen. Because he's cleverly played the lower of touching high cards, he's sort of opened up the hand for me. So when I get the lead again, let's say I win the ace of diamonds or something, I'm going to lead a low club because I'm pretty sure my partner's got the queen. Can you see the idea? So I've led a small one to the jack and declare as ace. And because partner played the jack, I knew who had the queen. It was him. Because if declarer had had the queen, he surely would have won with the queen. Because then his ace would be a winner as well. So by playing the lower of touching cards third in hand, you help your partner. And of course what that means is if the first trick had gone like this, small to the queen and ace, well then we know declarer has the jack. Yeah, because partner should have played the jack. Okay, so the rule third in hand is playing the lower of touching cards, and we're going to extend that over the next couple of weeks because it'll be extended by cards being in dummy and things. So the queen here denies the jack, as it were. So if I won the ace of diamonds here and got on lead with the hand on the left, the west hand, at that point I'd think, maybe I shouldn't play the king, because I'd prefer my partner to lead the suit. Can you see the difference? If I play the king here, declarer can follow with the 2 and he will make his jack. Whereas if I wait for my partner to get the lead, maybe with the ace of hearts later on, then my partner could lead a club instead. And if East leads a club here, if declarer plays the jack, we kill it with the king. If declarer plays small, we are able to win the trick with the 10. So knowing what your partner holds in a suit when he's got honours is really important. So what I'm asking you to do there is to play the lower of touching cards. So we would change the suit if we got lead later. And we will look at this over the next few cards. It's not easy. So generally I want you to play your highest card. I generally want you to play your highest card if you can. Okay, your highest card if you can. Third hand high. There's a few exceptions, and one of those is when you have 2 touching cards, or 2 equivalent or equal cards. Third in hand, you play the lower of those. And it's always quite tricky for beginners and certainly, in fact, novices as a whole, and even intermediates, because most of the time in bridge, we spend our life talking about top of a sequence. I lead the king, from king, queen, jack, and we've just done opening leads. So we like to lead the top of a sequence. And that's what we think of. But third in hand, we do the opposite. It's quite tricky, but you've seen the reason, and hopefully you will stick with it. Well, thank you very much for your time. Have a nice week, and we will see you again soon.